Hey guys, Malu here, and welcome back to another Raid School video. This is a series where I talk about the base mechanics as well as any tactics that I know for each encounter. So I don't throw a bunch of info at you at once, I will be splitting the Leviathan raid into different chapters. Each chapter will be laid out in the same way, where I talk about the base mechanics, then roles and or tactics, then prestige mode and challenge changes, and finally my personal loadout for each encounter, as well as any suggestions I have for alternative loadouts. Links to the other chapters will be in the description down below when they become available. This is the chapter regarding the boss fight. Now, let's get started. There's quite a bit going on here, so please bear with me. Just like the other encounters, there are a couple ways that you can do this fight. However, they don't stray from each other too much. To start the encounter, you can either shoot Calus's chalice out of his hand, or walk on or under the golden ring of his platform. When the encounter begins, a bunch of ads will come out of the doors to the upper left and right, as well as the middle door underneath Calus's platform. After some time, whether or not the ads are dead, the fight will continue, and a counselor will spawn on each of the plates around the room. Do not kill them. I don't know how much more clear I can be about that. Yes, they will give you power ammo. However, for each incorrect scion killed, it'll spawn a yellow bar enemy that will come into the room. And it's like 3 times harder with those ads than without. Only kill them if it's an ammo run and you're wiping. Also for an ammo run, use the Wardcliff coil glitch to get full ammo quickly. Anyways, we now know not to kill the scions, right? Right. Okay. After the counselors spawn, Calus will clap his hands 2 times. Then, your entire fire team will be teleported to a realm known by many names, such as the Mind's Eye, the Multiverse, the Void, and many more. However, I will call it the Outside, because it's outside of the main boss room. And this is where your team splits. I'll be talking in the sense of a 3-3 split, which is the way the fight was intended, and later I will talk about the 2-4 split. Now, there are 2 teams, one inside and the other outside. Let's talk about the outside team first. You need to split this group, so there is one on the left, middle, and right of the little phantom knee-high barricade. The reason for this barricade is because Calus would try and suck you to your death. As the fight goes on, the barricade will fall, and you need to stop on the next one while dodging any ramps. And if you don't one-phase Calus, you need to watch out for holes as well. Now, the barricades won't appear unless the inside team kills the correct scion. But how do they know which scion to kill? Now that is very simple. You'll tell them a piece to that puzzle. So, when you get sucked against the barricade, a symbol will appear on Calus's forehead, and you just call it out. I recommend the person on the left calls first, then the middle player, and finally the guy on the right. So the callouts are nice and clear. About 1 second after the symbols appear, a wave of ads will follow. The first wave will be 2 projections. A projection is a scion in a bubble floating in the air, and if it glows bright, then it will wipe your team. The next waves after that will be 3 red bar scions and 2 projections. You need to make sure you kill the red bar scions, like, as soon as they spawn, because if you don't, they could throw a psionic charge that will boot anyone inside its ring over the barricade and send them to their death. I highly recommend having the left and right players crossfire all the red scions, except for the last group. What that means is the left player shoots the right scion, and the right player shoots the left scion. You're crossing fire. The reason being is that a couple scions are hard to hit straight on, due to any ramps standing up high in the way. This is a little extra info to help. The projections will alternate which one spawns first. So, since it starts on the left for the first wave, then the next will be the right, and they will continue flip-flopping until you reach the end. Now, once you've made it to the end of the runway, and kill all the ads, the fathead will stop sucking. However, it will regurgitate skulls that track and try to kill you. Your true job is to destroy as many skulls as possible, because for each skull you destroy, you will get a buff called Force of Will, which is what allows you to hurt Calus. the more skulls you have, the better. The best loadout for skulls is an auto rifle, or two, with a rally barricade and more importantly, an Arc Soul Rift. After some time, the inside team will need to drop Calus' shield, so the skulls will stop coming, and 4 orbs will appear. These will take you back to the throne room for damage phase. Now, let's talk about the inside team. When everyone gets teleported outside, there will be 3 orbs, and these orbs will teleport you back into the throne room. Once back in the throne room, you need at least one person on the left and right to deal with the ads. At this point, Calus will be immune, and he can shoot a freaking laser at you from his forehead. So, watch out for that. Now, no matter how dangerous the ads are, they are a secondary objective. However, after I say that, ad control is mandatory. So, shoot shit, don't die. Your number one priority is to listen for the outside team's callouts and melee the Scion on the plate with the symbol that does not match any of the callouts. A lot like the Gauntlet encounter. After a Scion gets killed, correct or not, Calus will act like a child and attempt to kill you in spectacular fashion. His attack is dependent on his health. If he has 3 bars, then he will try and blow you up with a solar flare. If he has 2 bars, then he will try and shoot you with a cannon. If he's on his last bar, then in addition to cannon fire, he will try and burn you away with napalm from on high. Rinse and repeat killing the Scions via symbols until all the Scions flop dead. Then, it's time to shoot shit, don't die, don't get shot, and use your supers if you have it. I know that's a lot to remember, but you need to clear the throne room as quickly as possible without taking a lot of damage, because the boss will start his wipe mechanic by raising a shield over himself. To stop the wipe mechanic, all you need to do is shoot a shield down. However, you don't want to shoot it down super fast, because the longer the shield stays up, the longer the skull phase is for the away team. The reason why I say don't get shot is so all warlocks can run Empowering Rift instead of Healing Rift for damaging the boss. If you have full health, then you will dip into the red, and about a second after that, you down his shield. But if your screen goes bright white, then it's a little too late and timing's a little off. Anyways, now it's time for damage phase. I recommend starting on the sun plate and moving clockwise. However, that's not the only way you can do it. Your time on each plate is dependent on your force of will and if you can stagger Calus or not. Generally, an 80 stack or higher will result in 2 staggers and the most time for DPS. No matter what though, if Calus moves his right arm toward you, then it's time to get out of the area. If you don't, you will die after all 4 plates are done, and if Calus isn't dead, then rinse and repeat, killing the ads and going through your rolls. Once you drain his health to 0, then save your ammo because he is immune to all damage. It won't say it, but he is, until a shield pops up with another wipe animation. Blast the shield down, and Calus is finally defeated. Your reward will be down the elevator, through the door at the end of the hall, and across the bridge. Now, not much will change with the second tactic, the 2-4. The 2-4 is where 2 people are inside the throne room and 4 people are in the multiverse. All that means is that the inside team has to kill the ads quickly before they get overwhelmed, while outside the 4 people have the same job to call out symbols and shoot shit don't get tossed. Except with 4 people outside, there will be a duplicate symbol. What you do with callouts is either say same or duplicate if you have a symbol that has already been called out, or you could just say nothing at all. And same goes for if you have a 1-5 split as well. Now, the duplicate symbols will be the same people unless a person gets removed. For Prestige mode, there is only one change in addition to the usual. The usual changes are that enemies hit harder and are harder to kill, as well as if you die, you lose your revive token. The change is whoever kills the counselor, correct or not, in the throne room, will be teleported out into the multiverse, and to keep the teams the same, the game will teleport a random away team member into the throne room. So, to help make sure that there's a person for each red Scion so they die instantly, I highly recommend doing the 2-4 tactic if possible. However, if you can't, that's just fine. When you get teleported out of the throne room and into the multiverse, you will start at the beginning of the runway. So, you need to navigate your way past all the ramps and holes until you get to the barricade. You also need more than half health, or you may die on impact with the barricade. The people with the same symbol will change because the away team is being jumbled up by switching people. So you want to call out dupe for duplicate, or same, or just say nothing at all. One more thing, when an away team member gets teleported into the throne room, call out where you were, so it would be like left, right, or middle. The reason for this is so the new guy can get to the correct location, and the others know where to pick up the slack. Now, challenge mode. This one is relatively simple, but it extends out the encounter. The challenge is that all 4 damage plates need to be active before Calus takes damage. Since you only need 1 player per plate, you can have a 2 or 3 stack to a single plate, depending on class setups and whatnot. I recommend having the stacked plates in front, just so they're closer and can deal a little extra damage, without having to worry about damage fall off too much. Also, if you have a hunter or 2, I'd say run a 3 stack, so have one of the hunters on the same plate as, say, a warlock and titan. You don't want to have 2 warlocks or 2 titans on a single plate because you want to spread the buffs around as much as possible. However, if you have no hunters on your team, then I'd say run a 2 stack instead of a 3 stack, and put a warlock and titan together on the 2 stacked plates. Also, for the solo plates, you just use your buffs and try and get as much damage as you can. The most damage you can get is out of a cluster rocket. However, that only works if you have a rally barricade to instantly reload. If you're a solo warlock or hunter, I recommend using Merciless, simply because it's quick to fire and reload. I have a few loadouts that work for this encounter. My first 2 will be for the away team. They are Nameless Midnight, Cold Heart, and a cluster rocket, or Sweet Business, The End, and a cluster rocket. The last loadout will be for the inside team, and it is Better Devil, Cold Heart, and once again, a cluster rocket. And here's why. As an away team member, you don't want to get too close to the enemy, on both normal and prestige, so use the scouts. However, if they get close, then switch to your rocket or Sweet Business, as Cold Heart won't really help against ads too much. As an inside member, you will be running and jumping around, so the hand cannon with explosive rounds will keep damage at range and still be hitting like a truck. Try to save your power, Cold Heart, and Sweet Business ammo for Calus damage, but don't be stingy. If the situation calls for it on a Centurion, a Scion, or even a Space Ant, you do it. Away team, save as much Sweet Business or Cold Heart ammo for the skulls, because auto rifles are king there. Now, there's probably better optimized loadouts for this encounter, yet this is what I use. Subclasses. Hunters should use either Sharpshooter Golden Gun Nighthawks or Raiden Flux Arc Strider. Nades and class abilities are up to you. Warlocks should either use Arc Soul Stormcallers if the placement of the rift is in the skull phase or on the front plates. If not those situations for their rift, then I'd say Devour Warlock, just so you have a little more survivability. Warlock should use Pulse or Vortex nades with an Empowering Rift. Titans should only be strikers using dual Pulse nades and Rally Barricade. During damage phase, I recommend dropping a Barricade and Rift on the first plate and using your power ammo there. After that, use the class abilities when you can and try and set it where you have 1 Barricade and 1 Rift on a plate. Now that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If this video helped, please leave a thumbs up on it, and if you think this video could help a friend, please share it as well. I don't usually ask for likes and shares on my videos, however, this series could help LFG run smoother, and it could get raid runs down from a couple hours to complete to around an hour or less, like in the good old days of D1. I will be having more raid school videos after this, however, they will be a lot shorter, and they will be more of a focused lesson on how to do an encounter quicker or more efficiently. And when raid layers come out, I will be covering them as well. And that's layer spelled L-A-I-R, not like how an onion has layers. Anyways, I hope to see you in the next one, and until next time, you do you, peace out.